All right, and away we go. Let's take a look at what we've got going on. I like this shot. I hope you don't mind. I'm taking you back down to Dubuque, Iowa. Over the last hour or so, they had some pretty decent rainfall, and so you know that rainfall has been creeping up. And in fact, this was going on just around sunrise time, then it moved over to Prairie du Chien, all the way to Boscobel as well. They had some pretty decent winds and some hail associated with that as well. Well, the sunshine that Eau Claire had earlier today, well, that's kind of dissipated now. Clouds are starting to fill in. As I told you, that line has just jumped the Mississippi River and is working toward Eau Claire. It should be over the area as we go into the next, say, 30 minutes or so, possibly 45 minutes. Eau Claire, I should say La Crosse, looking pretty good as well, getting into Onalaska right there. As you can see, the roadways are doing great for the afternoon commute. No rainfall to boot just yet. It's still working across the Mississippi River. You can see it kind of just crossing now, getting towards the airport here locally. Once that occurs, you can see that line, of course, going up by Eau Claire, finally crossing the Mississippi. Storm activity associated with that. A little bit of possible hail in there. As you can see a little bit closer here. That's a good looking line of storms, actually, and it eventually will get toward the I-90. But we're looking at the winds right now. These are sustained winds, the lighter winds. You're seeing them come out of the south and southeast right now. They're fairly light, getting up to at least 17 miles per hour. But our gusts, they're up to at least 35 to 36 miles per hour right now, gusting. But we'll see them get up to possibly 40 and then get up to about 57 or at least near 57 miles per hour later on, getting into the forecast. We're also going to be seeing the possibility of highs for today, 60s, some 70s mixed in there possibly, so well above seasonal averages. We'll go through the day today. You can see that rainfall I just showed you by Prairie du Chien, and it'll be working in. Then you get into the early afternoon where thunderstorm activity starts to kind of try to get across the area. By the time it starts to move away from Black River Falls, more potential chances of thunderstorm move in. But we're also looking now as we go into the evening. This is when the big line comes through the forecast area. We're taking a little break for 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, but these storms pop into the picture from Eau Claire, working down towards areas by Rochester, then cross the Mississippi from Red Wing and work their way to Winona and then to La Crosse with the lighter stuff. But hey, make sure you can see this right now. Getting into the 11 o'clock hour, more storms start to come in. Potential thunderstorm activity with, again, a little maybe lightning kind of moving into the area here. This really begins to pick up by the midnight hour before 1 o'clock. So we have to keep an eye on this particular system by Sparta, working down towards Black River Falls through Richland. Once we, I just switched the model, by the way. Once we get into it, we're going to go into the 2 o'clock hour where that storm gets out of the way. A little bit of a break, and then this storm is still coming in for the 5 o'clock hour. Right before you can see the potential for storm activity as well, with heavier rainfall coming in. That starts to pick up as it gets towards Sparta, Black River Falls, and ignites up a little bit, then breaks down as it gets to Vogue Field. That kicks out, and for the remainder of the day, we see for Friday, pretty much from the noon hour all the way, some light showers possibly, not so much to the north just yet, but these continue to pick up. They begin to ramp up by the 7 o'clock hour in the evening commute, but they're out of the region with light to moderate rainfall in the forecast. That continues to go all the way into the midnight hour. We're done by at least 1 o'clock in the morning. We're expecting about 1.5 inches or less in the forecast for this rainfall for today and for tomorrow. That's all combined, by the way. We get into Friday, we've got more storm activity from mostly cloudy to cloudy skies, but we're in the 50s widespread. Then we go into the weekend. We're dry on Saturday, but Sunday you're seeing rainfall start to come in the late afternoon and all the way through into Monday. We get into your forecast, as you can see over the next few days, breezy and gusty conditions. Possibly I would call it breezy to windy, and that'll carry over into overnight tomorrow, where we're going to see those winds really pick up in the overnight midnight hour and then beyond begin to break down, carrying over to drier conditions for Saturday. As I mentioned, they're going to be Saturday's going to be more like what yesterday was like. Then we're going to get into the rainfall coming in for Easter, so folks hiding Easter eggs, you may have a little bit of a problem, so bring the umbrella. We'll also see Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with the possibility of more rain on the way.
So some very wet weather. Want to have your rain boots, your raincoats, your umbrellas, all of that handy for the next few days.
Yeah, of course, your little rubber ducky too, because it's Easter.
Exactly. All right, thank you, Art.